Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Caking at Midnight. Tonight we have a lot of things to get accomplished. We have 2 farmers markets to get ready for, a wedding cake, cake pops, lots of things. But the thing I want to show you guys tonight is a very simple, elegant wedding cake. I'm not exactly sure what the technique is called, but this is what it looks like. There we go. Okay, so very pretty, very elegant. And sorry, it's focusing on my face again. But that is what we're gonna do tonight. So we are going to get started with that, and then I apologize also for not having the cool lights in the background and all the fancy jazzy things that Josh does, but Josh has to go to work in a couple hours, so he is sleeping. So we're going to try this myself, which will be very interesting. We're going to start with crumb coating like we normally would on our cakes, and then I'll show you how to do the technique, and we'll stack it and we should be all set. I do have some very pretty, you can see them, roses. I've been smelling the roses all day. They smell so good. So we will get those placed on the cake as well. But I think we're all set and we can get started. As always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. If you have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. I do answer anything that you guys have questions on, anything that I've used, techniques, whatnot, anything you want to see in the future, just let me know down below. I'd be happy to answer any of those, and let's get started. Okay, so I apologize if the lighting sucks or you can't see anything, but if something doesn't look right, just comments and I'll answer anything. But like I said, I'll do my best. I'm not the camera person, so. On any other videos, I would want to make sure that this was smooth and, you know, perfect. That's not the look we're going for on this one, so we don't have to go to the Viva method next with this one. We're just gonna take the bench scraper and smooth it out the best we can. Getting this perfectly smooth with a Viva is not the technique we're going for, so that's one step we can skip on this method. Now I have 2 small offset spatulas, and although they look pretty similar, this one that's clean is just a tiny bit smaller. I don't know if you can tell, a little bit smaller. So I want to use the smaller one to get more of the effect as I go around the cake. There's a couple different techniques. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what this one's called. This one, we're just gonna take this straight around and have perfectly parallel lines. I have done another wedding cake where you'll do, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches, and then you'll kind of offset them and make it look a little bit more messy. I think there's a picture on my Instagram of it. It was my mother-in-law's wedding cake, but it was more of a messy look, but still very elegant. This one though, we want to make sure it's all continuous all the way around. So make sure that you use your turntable to work with you and not against you. Otherwise, you're just gonna get frustrated. So get your smaller, whichever look you're going for. And like I said, you can use a spoon too. So whichever depth you want to go with this, just make sure you hold it against the cake, keep a paper towel handy, and use your turntable. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit lower. You can see that we've taken a pretty good chunk out of there for the first one. And as simple as that was, you're just gonna take this and do the same thing here. Just make sure that, like I said, using your turntable to go along that same line. Now you can push harder, you can make it really light, just depends on what look you're going for. One line that's just a little bit thinner than the other. You can see the look we're starting to get here. There was a couple chunks there. You can just go back through. You can even go back through later with your finger and the Viva to go take your finger with the Viva and kind of go in there and smooth some of those out. Depending on how picky you want to be about it, or like I said, the look you're going for. And this is a far from perfect look on a cake, but it's very simple and it's very elegant looking, especially as a wedding cake. Bring your edges in on the top. If there's something you don't like, go back and change it. Just make sure you do it before everything starts to crust over. I actually really like that. It's probably maybe just a little deeper than the picture on the indentations, but I actually really like it. So I am gonna grab a Viva real quick. And the only part of this cake that you're gonna see is this little bit of an edge up here. So I'm gonna take my Viva and smooth this out, just so my edge on the top is somewhat smooth. There is gonna be, like I showed you earlier, eucalyptus and white roses on this as well. So that can cover up any imperfections. But that's the beauty of this cake. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what makes it so pretty. Okay, now we're gonna get started on our top tier. Even though this is a smaller cake, we still want to make sure that we have our straws in there to support it. So as always, I call them bubble straws. I think they're boba straws. I don't know. But for me and my channel, we will call them bubble straws. Like I said, it is a small one, but I'm still going to use my normal 5 straws in there. So I always put one in the center and then 4 around it for support. Now obviously I don't have to go as far apart because it is a smaller topper, but I still want to make sure that it's fully supported. And I am putting this one together in my kitchen because I will be transporting this one instead of like the last wedding cake where I built it on site. So this one has to withstand driving about a half an hour away from here. Completely 100% level both ways, so I'm gonna let it go. But if you had fondant, or I mean I can take some of the icing away, but if this is, you know, level but you're still pushing some pressure on there, especially if it's fondant, you're gonna notice a little bit of a ripple, or your fondant might bubble, or a rose might fall off or something. So just make sure when you're putting tiers on top, especially when this gets bigger and you have a lot more going up, that's a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on there. So when you make sure that these bubble straws are level, that's why I have this trusty little level that Josh got me. There's no magnetic pieces on it, so nothing can get stuck to it to get in your buttercream. It's just a plastic level. But I found it to be very, very handy when stacking cakes, especially something like the magnitude we did a couple weeks ago on the 4-tier wedding cake. Super, super important. This one has a tiny little top on it, but it still can be a problem. So make sure that they are level when you do cut them. And you can measure them, unlike my guessing skills, like I like to do every time. I'm just in a hurry most of the time. So like I said, I think I can do it, but I never always can. So it is what it is. Now that we have him level, I always like to put a little bit more buttercream in here as a glue. Sometimes if these straws are up just a little bit higher than your cake and not touching like it was over here, that little bit of frosting in there acts as a glue and it holds in more center, more stable. So sometimes that's more necessary than it is like today, but it's something I usually do in the center too. Now we want to carefully pick up our top tier. Side note, fondant is a lot easier to move than non-crusted buttercream. But since this is not crusted yet, you can see where my fingerprints were in there. It was soft, it's not crusted. So all the way around here you can see where I stuck my finger in. That is okay, because we want to now take that little spatula that we had and put another little bit of buttercream on there and then do that last bottom ring again. That way it'll look seamless. It's all the way up. You don't have to worry about things, you know, your seam. So it'll look like one awesome seam. So usually I would say go ahead, let it crust, put it on. This technique, even the naked cake we did, the last wedding cake we did, that was a pain in the butt at the venue to put together because the cake had crusted and I needed to put some buttercream on there to make it look more finished, and they don't stick. So it's very, very frustrating. And I was like, what? The groom had to bring me a beer to put it together. This is good here. So let's get some buttercream on here and then we will all finish and then we can do the floral and then we're all done. We're on there, stacked, it's sturdy, we're ready to go. And now we're going to take our buttercream along our edges and slowly get that moved in there. If you're a lot better at moving cakes than I am and you wanted to get this to crust, then move it, go right ahead. This is how I'm doing it. Because I know one way or another I'll get my finger stuck somewhere. Or to be quite honest, while I'm thinking about it, you could have just did your crumb coat, stuck it all on there, put the extra layer of buttercream on there, then stacked it, and then gone around and do this. It'd save you some fingers in your buttercream. It's another way to do it. And there you go. What do you think? Easy enough? I think it's a good one to start off on, or if you wanted to try your own wedding cake. Pretty self-explanatory, very simple cake. Okay, so we're all done. I went ahead and put the floral arrangement on there, or the roses, a little bit of eucalyptus. Keep it nice and simple. But I hope you've enjoyed the video this evening of our simple, elegant wedding cake. There are a couple different variations of this. Again, I have no idea what this technique is called, but it's very simple, very neat, and very easy to accomplish. So if you have any questions, don't forget to leave the comments down below. Again, I apologize if this video was not amazing because Josh wasn't here. I apologize, but this is what we got, and I hope you enjoyed it. As always, this is Caking at Midnight, and happy caking. Okay, did the wedding cake, did stuff for farmer's market, and I just did a 200 cupcake order for the farmer's market tomorrow. They got Reader's Choice here in Fort Wayne, Indiana for the best farmer's market. Josh helped me with some of the cupcakes, and then he said as soon as we get them all boxed up, he's going to bed, but we weren't done yet. So here is everything we've done. All of our cupcakes. 200 cupcakes. I have some pumpkins over there ready to go. I don't have the microphone on here, so I hope you can hear me. But the reason I wanted to get on here really quick is because last week he got me twice sleeping, and this week I got him really good. So let's go check I really hope this sound is but that is clearly what happens when you can't cake at midnight and get everything done. Sorry, look awful, but we've been doing quite a bit, and this 200 cupcake order, whew, but it's done. And $2:33. Last weekend I went to bed at 4:45, and Josh got me up after 60 minutes. So this one will be pretty good. We're all ready to go. I'm gonna go to bed, but I really hope that you both is sleeping to get back in for getting me twice. But I didn't snore like that either. So. This is Allison. Happy caking. Enjoy.